All right, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I still have Dr. Oladipo and BKO right here in the studio with me. Now let's begin the conversation. Adequate supply of petrol remains a challenge in Nigeria as the country continues to import refined fuel despite being one of the largest oil producers globally. Inadequate refining capacity is to be blamed, but Dangote Refinery has called on the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, and fuel marketers to stop importation. According to the chairman, Aliko Dangote, the company has more than 500 million litres of petrol in reserve and ready for local distribution. He also noted that as a producer, the refinery is not responsible for the petrol scarcity in the country as it does not handle fuel distribution. Yes, BKO, yesterday I saw on TV, Aliko Dangote was talking about that he has 500 million litres. Now, all eyes now on marketers. The question is, why are the marketers not buying from Dangote? That's the question.
It's a difficult question to answer. There are different grades of marketers. Ipman, they are marketers. They are also major marketers. There are big marketers like Shafa, like Matrix, like Rano, who invested heavily in tank farms when we didn't have a single refinery working in this country. It will be difficult for those ones to simply say, okay, we give up importing.
Okay.
Because they invested heavily.
In tank.
Yes, they saved us when we didn't have refineries working. They invested in that sector and they were bringing in products. Dangote is the person who can solve this problem.
Really? How?
If people are insistent on importing, reduce your price. I also believe that one of the problems that he has is the Nigerian, he's been asking that they should give him the Nigerian crude. The Nigerian crude is the Lamborghini of the oil industry. Everyone wants Nigerian crude. Elsewhere, they use it to blend other categories of crude oil. Our crude oil is so light that it is expensive business to simply rely on it. It will make sense for Dangote to import maybe from Texas. The Texas brand is the cheapest. It is not of the quality of Nigerian.
Okay.
The Nigerian crude oil is very expensive. Now, don't be shocked if you discover that imported petrol is cheaper than the one refined.
That will be the shock of the century.
No, when you look at, I've told you that our crude oil is the most expensive. Yes, go and look at the pricing templates. On your own, just maybe after the program, look at the pricing template. You see where WTI is. You see where the Nigerian crude oil is. Ours is the Lamborghini of the industry.
I think it's always like $5 or $50.
Sometimes the difference is like $5, sometimes up to $5, $6.
Yeah, $5, $6.
That's a lot when you are talking about volume.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a lot. So if marketers discover, I'm not saying that is what has happened. Okay. If they suspect that the imported variant will be cheaper than the one produced here because of the price of our crude oil, for example, and some of them go to bring that in, Dangote will be in trouble. Dangote will be in trouble. Me, I say it the way I see it. That's
If
nothing you
the
do to me.
marketers decide to go
But
for
they've done that
importation,
already. The NPA has confirmed consignment. Millions of liters already coming in. They've confirmed that already. Even for AGO, they brought in, some marketers have brought in AGO. You see, Dangote has to sit with these people,
okay,
make offers to them. The volatility, the foreign exchange volatility means that prices will keep fluctuating, but they have to find a way to achieve stability in pricing. Putting all of this volatility together, you can find like an aggregate price.
okay,
If you will sit with them and say, okay, gentlemen, I know what your fears are. Let us do business. This I'll give you a so-so price. He's worried because he knows some consignment has come in. Consignments of
the vessels.
diesel, yes. Some vessels are coming already, which the NPA has confirmed.
Yeah.
Diesel, PMS. And he has his refinery working here. He wants to sell within the Nigerian market. And what the NMDPRA, what they are saying is, there's no country in the world that does not import. They import to ensure that you have consistent, sufficient supply.
Yeah.
As a backup.
And then to achieve energy security, you cannot put all your eggs in one basket. If anything happens, that will require, for example, that the refinery doesn't work for days or maybe a whole week or 2 weeks, you know we will be in trouble.
Exactly.
So that's why they are still issuing those licenses. And he got worried, he decided to go to court, trying to get the court to stop the issuance of licenses to Rano, to Shafa, to Matrix, to all of these people.
Even NNPC.
NNPC. That in itself is bad blood. Because those ones, they were arguing that they were not aware of the court case. That they were not aware. And you know, even the media was not aware.
Exactly.
Ambush.
Yes. So you have a lot to do. You, Dangote, you have a lot to do. Sit with these people. Perhaps the president can come in, sit with these people and allay their affairs. That's the only way to go. If they distrust you, and you don't address that distrust, they will not patronize you. And licenses have been issued. You know, they issue this license like for time for a quarter. So during that time, they will be bringing in products. Some of them will not go to your. I saw a document that those guys generated where they petitioned, marketers petitioned against the NMDPRA that it was trying to compel them to be buying product from Dangote.
Dangote. Really?
So, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tradition is there.
This is a long story, this thing that we are seeing. There's a lot of bad blood already. So if you wrote a petition that the regulator was so disingenuous to the point of trying to get you to be buying from someone, you know, they can argue that that's not even-handedness. So that is there. It needs to address, because newspapers were agog with stories that, oh, there is no, that marketers had begun buying. I was in Abuja, I knew the papers were lying. Because they were not buying. NNPC directed some IPMAN members to go and lift on his behalf. That does not mean that marketers, they were lifting on behalf
of NNPC.
NNPC.
Oh.
You know, NNPC doesn't have the logistical this thing to be able to supply all of those outlets. They need to use IPMAN guys to sell to them. And Ipman is saying, okay, we gave NNPC 40 billion. We paid them 40 billion. They've not supplied us. So there are issues. There are issues around supply, even from the refinery. NNPC came out to say they are not producing enough. We talked about this last week.
Yes.
I don't want to overflow the issue. But you see, there's a problem of trust here. Dangote has to address that. Allay the affairs. These guys will come back. Already they will lose money by winding down their town farms and all that. This was a business they were doing for years. Now you have to reassure them that, look, come to me. And in addition to that, it needs to look beyond the Nigerian market. I'm happy that Ghana has said it will buy product from him. He does not, nobody has given him the mandate that he must evacuate everything he's producing and sell here. So he has to begin to look at the market there, because I don't think NMDPRA will stop issuing licenses. They see that as a kind of, how do I describe it, Dotun? As a way of ensuring that if something
goes wrong,
we don't have any refinery working.
You know,
there's no modular refinery that is producing PMS as we speak.
Yeah.
It's still Dangote Refinery. If anything happens, what do we?
What happens? And it's even a means of government making money, issuing the licenses.
So Nigerians, all Nigerians want is let the scarcity stop. They just want to buy fuel. Aliko Dangote coming on television to say that I have 500 million litres. The marketers are not going to buy it. They are not getting supply. So where should we?
Even people have questioned the availability of 500 million.
Exactly.
Gandhi of Ipman said he does not believe that.
He does not believe, because they were there for 4 days and they couldn't lift. Nobody
so who should we
could.
believe here?
Well, we have to believe what we see at the filling stations.
Choose what you believe, exactly.
Well, I will believe what I see at the filling stations. That's the reality. Because if we hear and we don't see, then it's as good as it's as good as not hearing. So some key points for me there from what BQ said. Number one, we shouldn't be a one-source supplier of petroleum products. If anything goes wrong, especially as we are going towards Yuletide, it's going to be going back to those years when people were dying on the road because they were carrying fuel to travel. And you know, when these things will sink in, will begin from the hinterlands. So people begin to buy fuel to take from Lagos. Even now, when you go to certain filling stations where those buses traveling from Lagos to the north, to the east, when you go there, you see the drivers have done it, the device means of ensuring that they line some parts of their vehicles with kegs, petrol kegs, because they know that once they leave Lagos,
they may not get.
And then if they get, they are going to pay through their noses. I was at a filling station today, and I was fortunate and unfortunate to be behind a bus that was going to the north. That guy ensured that the person selling fuel to him filled it to the brim, and it was more. And he had this load of cash with him.
Oh dear.
Also, because he knew there is no way he's going to get with that
one.
Even
the price will be too high.
The price will be high. And then he had all these small, he to about 20.
Later in my town.
Yeah, 1,600.
Yes, and they were telling me that there was a time it was 1.8.
More than that. So we need to get these things right, so that we don't run into trouble that we ran in those days, where things happen and then we are saying it's because there's a shortage.
All right, gentlemen.